Welcome back to Retirement Today. Your co-host Jonathan Berglund. With me here in the studio is Michael Reese, certified financial planning professional for over 25 years now, helping those of you out there in radio land get to and through retirement successfully. And Mike, we were talking in the break a little bit here about this topic, the power of zero, and it was great. I thought we should share that with everyone out there, and I know you can expand upon it and really share your insights. Right? It's a cool thing, right?
Yeah, it's really kind of a cool topic. I call this the power of zero.
Yeah, great name.
So here's the thing. Whenever you talk to some kind of an investment advisor, what do they always say? They say, I'm going to help you get a higher return with less risk.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and focus on getting the higher return, and that's the end of the risk discussion, right? For the most part.
There it goes, yeah.
What people often miss and what they don't understand is the impact that risk has on your retirement savings, right? And this is where people, they really mess up investing in a huge way. So I have this great little example, and I call it the power of zero, right? So here we go. Here's how it's going to work. Let's imagine that you're going to invest, Jonathan, for the next 20 years.
Okay.
All right? And I tell you that you can invest in Portfolio A or Portfolio B. Portfolio A for that 20-year period is going to average a rate of return after all expenses of a little over 7.5%, 7.56%.
Okay. Yeah.
Portfolio B, over the exact same time frame, after all expenses, is going to average 5.9%. Do you want to put your money for the next 20 years where you know in advance you're going to earn 7.5% a year or a little less than 6% a year? Which one, if that's all the information you have, which one do you want?
That higher number.
Obviously.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Duh.
More, please.
Duh. Of course we want the higher number. That's kind of a no-brainer. And by the way, we're going to assume there are no tax implications. It's not a trick question for taxes or any of that. This is just raw math. That's all we're looking at. Now, so you pick the higher one.
The higher one, yes.
And so you start with, let's say that you won the lottery.
Okay, I like this. This is great.
And you have $1 million to invest for the next 20 years.
Perfect.
And I'm using data, by the way, that was taken from real world data from 2000 to beginning of 2000, the end of 2019, which is the end of 2020. Technically 21 years, but we'll call it 20 years, right? You take that $1 million, you put it in this account that averages 7.5%.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of this 20-year period, your $1 million, it goes down to 600. It goes back up to $1 million, down to 700, back up to $1 million, and then up to $2 million, and then it ends at $3.1 million.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I like the end number. Along the way, maybe a little rough.
A little roller coaster along the way, but
but in the end, hey, 1 to 3, yeah.
Ended up at $3 million, not so shabby.
Can't complain too
right?
much, right? Yeah.
All right, cool. What if you would have picked Portfolio, did I say 2 or B?
B.
I think I went with B. I think we said A and B.
Letters, so yes.
I can't remember this. I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one. I hope out there you're driving your car like, oh my God, I do that too.
You're laughing along with us, yes.
Yeah. So here's Portfolio B. You earned less than 6%, 5.9%.
Right.
If you would have chosen that one. You start with $1 million. It never goes below $1 million. In fact, it only stays level or it starts to rise. And in fact, it rises to $1.5 million, $2 million, $2.5 million, and you end with roughly the same $3.1 million. Actually, you end up with about $50,000 less.
Okay. So basically the same thing.
You basically end up at the exact same place.
But
your average return's lower, though.
the ride was a lot better.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
In both cases, you tripled your money, So shouldn't you have the exact same rate of return?
Your gut might tell you that, but that's not reality, right?
That's what you would think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You would think, oh, I should get the same rate of return.
Yeah.
Because I went from 1 million to 3 million, my return should be basically the same number, but they're not. One of them is over 7.5%, the other is a little less than 6. So why? What's going on here? This is the risk side of things and the power of zero. So in the first portfolio, the one that averages 7.5%, that had that wild ride,
Right.
there were years where you're making 30% a year. Like there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in that 20-year period. You're like making more than 25%.
Feeling great. Yeah.
And you're killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's also some years in there where you're down 20%, down 30%.
Yeah.
There's a
absolutely.
few of those, right? But when it all averages out, you're at 7.5. Well, what about the other portfolio, the one that earned less than 6? Well, in this portfolio, all I did is I said, well, what if you never lose a dime? You never have a year where you lose money.
Mhm.
But in a good year, when the market's up, you only make about half of what the market makes. So what does that mean? Your best return, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 years that you made more than 10%. Heck, this other one, how many did you make more than 10%? I mean, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years in the first portfolio you made more than 10%. But you also had like 3, 4 years where you lost money.
Big. Yeah. Big too.
In the second portfolio, you never lose money, ever. But you also, like a really good year might be 15%, right? Like that might be the best you do. Here's the point. When it comes to investing, this is what people like Warren Buffett know, that I'm going to guess that 90% of financial advisors don't understand this. Because when I give classes and I teach financial advisors about investing money, they get blown away by this conversation, like overwhelmingly. Nobody teaches them this. And that is that double-digit returns are awesome, but if they come with double-digit losses from time to time, you might be a lot better off just hitting singles and doubles versus trying to hit home runs and striking out.
Yeah.
Right?
Like it. I mean, it's a
Like,
math, right?
if you get to the same place after 20 years, but one is a roller coaster and the other is a smooth ascent up, right? It's you never go backwards, you only go up. Who in their right mind would take the roller coaster? It's just nuts.
Yeah.
A rational person would always take the low risk or zero risk path. So the power of zero, and it doesn't matter what order these returns come in, by the way, the power of zero is that if you can invest your money in such a way where you don't lose money, like ever, you don't need to have great returns to end up in a really good place. That's what it really means. And most people, they don't understand that. This is how they're messing up their investing, especially when you're getting closer to retirement.
Yeah. When your time horizon is a lot shorter,
But
right?
yeah, the closer you get to retirement, the less risk you have to take. And so here's the thing. Let's imagine you're sitting out there and you're listening to me and you're like, holy smokes. Nobody's talking to me about this stuff. Nobody's educating. Maybe no one's educating you on, how to really intelligently build a portfolio where you're combining good return potential with very limited risk positions. Like, how are you hedging your downside risk?
Right.
And I'm guessing nobody's really talking to you about that. And if they're not, I would argue you owe it to yourself to learn more about how to do these things. And how do you learn more? It's really easy. You call us. Jonathan, I'll give you our number in a minute, but you just give us a call. And when you call, it's after hours, so you'll get our answering service, but they'll set up a time where you actually get to talk to Jonathan.
How about that? It's exciting, yeah. We just have a quick conversation, right? Get to know each other a little more about your situation and determine if we can be helpful to you and get you right on the path.
I wish all of you could see his big smile right now. He gets all excited about what people.
I enjoy doing it. It's great, yeah.
Anyway, you give us a call. You talk to Jonathan. You're scheduled to talk to Jonathan for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And his job when he talks to you is basically, hey, how can I help? Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And then based on what you're looking for, he can either help you right then and there, or he'll connect you to an advisor who, might need to do a little more digging to help you out.
Might need to spend some more time together. Yeah.
But either way, if no one is talking to you about how to hedge your downside risk, how to keep your losses to a minimum, by the way, this year is kind of a litmus test on that, right?
Right. Yes. You are.
How do you keep at least portions of your portfolio limited, right? Doesn't have to be all of it, but at least chunks of it, right? If they're not talking to you about that, then you owe it to yourself. Why not give us a call? Let's set up a time to talk to Jonathan, and let's see if we can be helpful for you, right? It's as simple as just a conversation.
That's right.
So, Jonathan, what's a number that they all need to call as they're out there in their cars or at home or at work? What's that number they need
That's
to
right.
call?
Here it is for you. It's 512-886-5850. Again, the number is 512-886-5850. Give us a call. We'll set up a time to have a conversation and see if we can be helpful to you. And again, get you on the right track to your successful retirement, right?
That's right. That's what it's all about. So, all right, let's help you invest intelligently. All you need to do is give us a quick call. Now, again, don't go anywhere. Coming up, I think it's my favorite segment, Jonathan. I get to be king for a day.